something made me just feel like I had to do my part and start getting involved in these competitions because I felt like I brought so much more than some of these people,
Yeah,
that were
the
already
integrity.
getting involved. So not just the quality of the weed, but just the what comes and stands behind the brand in the weed, And I started, I think 2014 was my first cup, and I
Did you
mean,
enter yourself, or you entered it through a
I
collective?
did it by myself.
Oh wow,
Yep,
which is rare, bro. Cause
I literally, I'll tell you the honest to God truth. I went on knowing, just believing so much in what I had going on
hmm
that it would pay off. I had borrowed money and took loans just
wow,
to come up with the money to do the.
it's worth it,
It
right?
was
It's
a lot
worth,
of money to a guy like me
but
back
it's
then,
worth it. It's
and
worth it every minute.
I really believed that what I was doing was gonna come around and pay off. So that money that I had put forward was like a gamble, and it obviously paid off. But it was, for me, for a guy like me, it was a lot to put forward at the
It
time.
speaks volumes. I mean, to have those two awards. I mean, we've won 10 of them, um, and just be able to be fortunate enough to work with some of the caregivers. And then like at our club at Pure West, I think that's the biggest niche that we have versus a lot of other places because we're not a licensed facility. I mean, a lot of what we work on is with caregivers like yourself. You know
Caregivers,
what I
and
mean?
yeah.
They'll come
Well,
through.
that's what the that's what how the that's how this was built. I mean,
It's it to me though. It's crazy though to win that amount of awards and then like it's not like one of those guys that like I always played the background if that makes sense. You know
right.
what I mean? And I've always been a firm believer in natural soil. I mean, it's always been something that I've always fought for. Just because of the way the Oregon growers grow or Washington State growers grow, and I just being able to taste some of the bud that I had tasted from them, and just being able to be like, dude, this is some fire ass shit. I wouldn't have been as far as with the organic growing, getting that piece of dirt to me. Like
Hmm.
I like for 3 years straight, I paid for shipping for a cargo for a semi to bring it. One was on a train once. They brought it on a train, but they brought me the soil. It was straight from Oregon. You want it to taste like the West Coast,
Yeah, I mean, if that's
make
what
it,
you're shooting for,
bring it.
everybody's got a
It,
palate.
it cost me $2,500 every time they shipped that shit to me.
Wow.
So that's like 75, almost $8,000 just in shipping
Yeah,
that I've paid for soil. And
just
like,
for that soil.
bro, I'm telling you, you want it, you want it. If you want it to taste like that, I mean,
I mean, you get what you
everybody's got
pay
their little
for. You
niche,
get what you pay for too. Like
Yeah,
if you want quality, you can't cut every corner. Obviously.
for sure.
So, I mean, yeah,
What
that's
about
great.
you? How'd you get introduced to the soil shit?
I mean, well, I started off doing deep water culture was my first
Yeah.
introduction into like the
The
medical.
hard, the hard. You go like to the hardest
Well,
one.
and what it was for me was I liked to be involved in a project. Like I want to be as hands on as possible.
Mm-hmm.
And so when I started growing, I looked at soil and I was thinking, man, it's just such a slower process, and there's not too much detail to go into it. I wanted to really just, I wanted to have an experience out of it. I
Yeah,
started growing as a hobby,
yeah,
like anybody. I didn't do it to make money.
yeah.
I did it to provide for me and my girl at the time.
The best smoke is it you. The best smoke you smoke is the smoke you grow.
Yeah, I mean, I'll be the main. I mean, I've grown weed outdoors and illegally since I was probably 14 or 15. How everybody did back in the day in cornfields and out in the woods.
Some miracle grow and
And
shit.
I mean, yeah, I mean, we didn't even really have too much of a clue, but we grew really good pot because we were passionate about it and we
Yeah,
took care of it,
that's what it
and we
is.
watered it when it needed watering and all that stuff. But needless to say, I remember when I got into the medical business, the main reason, I'll tell you the exact thing that inspired me to do it. We were sitting around a campfire. There was like six of my buddies, and we were drinking and smoking, and we just weren't getting a buzz off from the pot that we had. And everybody's starting to get ornery, and we're getting pissed off because we're not. When you smoke, if you're medicating, whatever, you're looking for that relief,
Yeah.
for that buzz. We weren't getting it, and I remember I just had enough. I took the joint, and I threw it down, and I was like, I'm just gonna start growing weed, and I'm gonna grow the best pot around, and I'm gonna get into High Times magazines, and I'm tired of this shit. I literally said it just like that, and all these people stopped, looked at me for a minute, and then just went right back around about their business like I never even said a word, because that's just how
Yeah.
it is when you're drinking and bullshit. And,
Yeah.
most people don't take you for real.
Sure.
I literally, I mean, I have the same buddies from that group call me up, and some of them even every once in a while get so inspired they'll almost be in tears, and they're like, I'm so proud to see you doing what you're doing. I can't believe that you said what you said and that you did what you said. You know what I
Sure.
mean? And it's just that kind of shit just keeps me going.
It takes a lot of dedication to really just be a grower, first of all. But it also takes a lot of dedication to create a lifestyle behind it too.
Yeah, I mean, it was a movement for sure, and I hate to
It's
say it, a
got
lot of
weird
friends,
hours
I
and
lost a
shit.
lot of friends because they weren't with it. Like, not that I chose it to be that way, they just didn't want to live that type of lifestyle I was
Sure,
living, and
sure.
they didn't want to be a part of it.
I've had friends.
know.
I've had the same friends, this family. I really consider them for the last 20, 25 years, and it's Thanksgiving this past a little bit ago, and got to get with them and stuff, and it's just just to hear them really happy for me.
Yeah.
Because there's a lot of times when you can't be around, if that makes sense. Like, you can't be the one to say what's up and stuff, because you don't know what's going on, or the cops are following you.
Right.
They're still doing their
They're
crazy,
still doing
their
their
crazy
thing,
shit.
and you
and
move past for it. I hear you.
bro. It gets difficult. You know what I mean? There's a lot of my friends that I grew up with. They're either out of the game or still in the game, and or would like to just be more established into something else. And it's not what I do with. You know what I mean? You let your imagination run wild for
I mean,
you understand what I'm getting
even
at.
I was down that road. I moved out of my own when I was 15 years old, and there was a time in my life where I was slinging and banging and whatever.
Yeah.
I'm not proud of it, but I mean, I think we all kind of are built and come from somewhere. We all have our demons, but we build from it. We try to do better in life. That's kind of where I've been at all these years, is just trying to
That's
provide this professional look, this professional brand. I mean, even in 2014, when I started doing it, there was only a handful of people that were actually brands, like in Michigan.
Yeah.
Everybody did duct tape on a jar and black marker, and nobody.
That's funny.
Nobody had a purpose
That's
or
funny
anything.
that you say that, because like I always talk about that with the jars here, or with some of the branding. Like, we wouldn't even, like, I remember some people would bring us their shit and we take it out of the packaging and put it into like our own packaging. You know what I mean? Just because we didn't want to trace it back to us.
Right. I mean, and that was another part of the discussion I wanted to get at. I mean, I remember a point where everybody's like, you're exposing yourself by doing your brand and putting yourself out there, doing High Times, doing all these things. You are exposing yourself. You are at risk at any minute. Aren't you afraid that you could get raided, that you could get busted, this and that? And I remember just telling people, I was like, dude, I believe that they're watching me, but I believe that I'm doing it as professionally and as you know what I mean,
There's
as,
other
as
people
clean as I
there's other
can. I
people
was
that
lab
can
testing.
really-
I was never,
I totally get what you're saying. In
So
that
I feel like
perspective.
that's what kept me going too, was just knowing that I was doing things the right way, in a
Well,
sense.
like, that's what, like, I mean, I think that was one of the main reasons too. Like, with me, I think when I caught a lot of my cases, wasn't really that I caught the cases because of whatever. I think it was more of the fact that, like, oh, motherfucker, you think you can't be touched? Oh,
Right,
okay, we're
yeah,
gonna sit
yeah,
your
at
ass.
one point you were bulletproof.
Yeah, we're gonna sit your ass right
Right.
now. We're gonna bring you back to reality and let you know that we let you have that card and stuff. And the thing is in the long run of in the longevity of it all, it's just like, I mean, a lot of it's not that the prosecutors won't come and challenge what we're doing. It's just it's just pointless to them. And then because of you already been through so much stuff, you know what I mean? It's like, it's why is the New England Patriots one of the best teams? It's because their coach is one of the ones that's probably lost the most. You know what I
Right,
mean?
yeah,
You
he's
know what
put
I mean?
people don't see all the losses that we go through. They see the wins,
Yeah.
that's fine. Nobody wants to see I mean, they do, but they don't. The struggles and all that are for the documentaries.
Yeah.
You know, but when you're talking to like
when you're living it,
when you're living it, nobody wants.
When you're
it.
in that rack, it's like it's not. I mean, I don't. You know, with me, my background, I mean, they locked my ass up, bro. Like, and you were like again, and you'd never know that I got locked up because I did all the work release. You know, I did a work release program. I mean, I got out from 9:30 in the morning, and I was back by 8:30 at night. So you'd have never known I was in jail because again,
You're still doing your thing.
I would sleep, man. I would sleep in there, and then you know, I mean, every once in a while, I mean, I would dip to the crib, go get some food, and you know, get some extra loving. Get some extra loving that I needed from my girl.
Cut out of work a little earlier or something, or take a lunch break.
Man, I'm taking advantage of any of those little breaks I was getting, bro. But again, it's like, why did I have to go through that? I didn't even do anything wrong. With what I would have got in trouble with then, today, wouldn't even have been.
It would have never been an issue.
Bro, I'm telling you, and that's what's sad.
I mean, I did 5 days in jail in Lapeer County for having a half gram of fucking weed.
That's fucking weird.
I mean, I'm not bullshitting. It was right before it went medical, and they were like, you can either do 5 days straight, or you can do 1 day a week, however you want to do it, but you have to do 5 days. And you know, that was the worst part, was trying to like mentally prepare yourself to go in there for 24 hours. And the worst part is they didn't give me a cell. If I'd have did the 5 days, I might have got a cell, so I was a little stupid there. I did one, but I couldn't afford to miss work. So what I did was I went in on Saturday night, or Saturday early morning, Sunday early morning, and I got out Monday early morning so I could still go to work.
Wow.
And I did it 1 day a week, and they put me in the fucking bullpen. So I had to be in there with drunks and addicts, and it was horrible, dude. You know what I mean? They don't give you a pillow, no blanket, no nothing. I remember, and I'm thinking, I'm in here sitting next to this guy that's shooting up heroin, and he just murdered somebody and all this other shit. And I'm in there for a half gram of weed. You know what I mean? This is a fucked up system.
Well, no, where I think what hit me really the most, I mean, and it just blows your mind, is it when the inmates are coming into the jail and you're sitting in there and you're probably like in 3-4 months and like somebody's like, dude, what are you in here for? Or like, and you have like maybe
you hear the stories and you're like, what?
Why? No, I'm not talking about that. But like when they understand, like, dude, you're like advocating, you're doing a lot of good things. Why are you in here?
Yeah,
this makes no sense. Like,
oh, even the officers will tell you.
They'll tell you. And
believe me, I know.
And it's like, man, that was probably one of the hardest parts for me. Was just like having to experience that. Was when they were like, you know, oh, gonna go sell pot today. Like, it was a joke, you know what I mean? Because they would let me out for work release every day, and you know, I'd walk past the laundry, you know, where the girls did the laundry and the guys did the cooking and stuff for the kitchen, and you know, it was a hard time for me. At the same time, it was just like, okay, you know, wherever you want me at, wherever a higher power wanted me at, wherever you needed me to be an influence or be a reflection on what you want me to be, okay, let's get it. You know, I've always tried to be a mirror image of what I represent for me as my team and my staff, and you know, and I feel very proud to be an influence here in Michigan in the medical marijuana movement. You know, now we're in a new era of a recreational movement, which is crazy because you didn't ever thought of that.
I know.
Now we're in another phase of this fucking business.
I know.
And what's in store for, you know, Grumpy Bear Farms or 710 Savant? You know what I mean? What's in store for, you know, Pure West Compassion Club or some of these other things, brands and stuff that I've put a lot of work into and might be having to be readjusted because the laws are different now. And
for real,
like I said, it's just a new era of stuff, and you know, we've just tried to adapt with the times.
Thanks for sitting down and talking with us on our first episode of Boss Talk Bomber. I really appreciate that, man.
Hey, no problem, man. I really appreciate you taking the time and, you know what I mean, taking over the shop for a little bit.
I mean, you're my guy, dude. I come 2.5 hours to see you.
Yeah.
I don't do that for anybody.
5-hour round trip, 5.5.
Yeah, I mean,
stop and get some food, maybe 6. You know?
Yeah, so, I mean, it's a good time though. We always have fun.
I tell everybody that comes out here, man. I mean, it's not a far drive and it's worth it. I try to make it as best as comfortable as possible. A lot of these guys that have these, you know, these spots and dispensaries or whatnot, bro. It's just like, it's real like bang bang, like always
like a fast food type deal.
Yeah, here, like, get your money.